first and foremost is we're going to help them with that as far as where they don't expose themselves, because the payroll liability is a huge piece, and not having that right can be very, very costly in any state. Some states much more than others. They're going to be responsible for making sure they're, keeping their employees safe, keep them in a good workspace, and managing anything that falls under that HR, OSHA realm, all that stuff that is there. They're going to need to make sure, especially in staffing, that if they're staffing for a certain industry, that they're putting them into a situation that's compliant, safe, and no exposure anyway, that's a danger to the actual employee. And that's a big piece. And that's a big piece with staffing companies, as they vet clients that they do want to bring on, and they don't put their employees into a situation that is, going to cost them down the road. And that's another part of the partnership too, is when a client comes on to us, we underwrite that client for them, and I say that as, okay, what is the industry? Well, if they're not an expert in, let's say food manufacturing. So they're not an expert in food manufacturing. I guarantee you that we've done it or already have it. And so we can go in and say, oh, this type of job, this is the exposure you have. This might be the type of work comp injuries that you could have. Sometimes there's nuances in, say, payroll. So the transportation payroll is all the way across the board. There's situations where drivers get paid by the mile, by the load, hourly, or salary. So there's a lot of differences in that type of payroll. But even in just straight staffing, not even transportation staffing, you're having some companies that they need some still paper check, believe it or not. And it's understandable. There's still paper checks out there, which we can do. There's direct deposit, obviously, and then there's pay cards. These are all things that it depends on their demographic, their employees, what they want. Some people just don't want to do a bank account. They don't want it. They want that paper check in hand, or they want a pay card because it's easier for them. And that's all stuff that we can provide.